There are places in Africa that maps do not show. Places where stories are not told, but whispered. Because some stories are not meant to be remembered. This is one of them. A story of a village that went to sleep one night, and by morning, it no longer existed. Deep within an ancient forest, far beyond the reach of cities and roads, there once stood a village. It was not marked on any map. It had no name known to outsiders. But to those who lived there, it was home. The people lived in harmony with the land. They farmed the soil, hunted only what they needed, and honored the spirits of their ancestors. Because to them, the forest was alive. Not just with animals, but with something else. Something older. Something that watched. At the edge of the village, there was a line. Not drawn in the sand. Not marked by stones. But everyone knew it was there. Beyond that line was the forbidden forest. No one crossed it. Not even the bravest hunters. The elders warned. There are places where the living do not belong. They spoke of voices in the dark. Of shadows that moved without form. Of people who walked into the trees and were never seen again. So the villagers obeyed. For generations, no one dared to cross that line. Until one day, someone did. A young boy. Curious. Restless. Tired of stories meant to scare him. He had heard the warnings all his life. But he didn't believe them. To him, the forest was just trees. And so, one evening, as the sun began to set, he crossed the line. At first, nothing happened. The forest was quiet. Too quiet. No birds. No insects. Even the wind felt like it had stopped breathing. Then, he heard it. A voice. Soft. Distant. Calling his name. He turned, but no one was there. The deeper he walked, the colder it became. Until he realized something was wrong. The forest was changing. The trees looked unfamiliar. Twisted. Watching. And then, he saw something move. Not an animal. Not a person. Something else. The boy ran. Branches tore at his skin. Roots stripped his feet. But he didn't stop. He didn't look back. When he finally crossed back into the village, he collapsed. Shaking. Silent. For hours, he refused to speak. And when he finally did, he said only one thing. They know we are here. After that day, everything changed. The boy was never the same. He stopped laughing. Stopped playing. Sometimes, he would stare into the forest. As if something was staring back. Then the nights began to change. Strange sounds echoed through the darkness. Footsteps, circling the village. Whispers, just beyond the huts. And sometimes, a voice. Calling from the trees. Then, people began to vanish. A hunter, who went out at dawn, never returned. A woman, who stepped outside at night, disappeared. No screams. No struggle. Just gone. The villagers searched. But there were no tracks. No signs. It was as if the forest itself had swallowed them. That was when the elders finally spoke the truth. Long ago, before the village was built, that land belonged to something else. Not animals. Not humans. Something ancient. Something that had been disturbed. The line was never meant to protect the people from the forest. It was meant to protect the forest from them. Desperate, the elders prepared a ritual, an offering, to calm whatever had been awakened. They gathered at the edge of the forbidden forest, chanting, calling out to the unseen. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the wind returned, violent, unnatural. The trees began to shake, as if something beneath them was waking up. And the fire went out. That night, the boy spoke again. But this time, his voice was different. They are coming. No one slept. The air was thick, heavy, like the world itself was holding its breath. Then it began. A fog, slowly creeping in from the forest. Thick, white, silent. It swallowed the trees, then the ground, then the village itself. Inside the fog, shapes moved. Not clearly, but enough to know they were not human. The whispers returned, louder now, closer, everywhere. And then, darkness. At sunrise, the fog was gone. The forest was quiet again, peaceful, as if nothing had happened. But the village was empty. When neighboring villagers arrived, they found everything, except the people. Food still cooking, water still warm, doors left open. It looked like life had been paused in the middle of a moment, and then erased. No bodies, no footprints, no answers. But there was one thing. At the edge of the village, near the forbidden line, footprints. Not leading out, but leading in. No one stayed. No one rebuilt. The land was abandoned, left to the forest. And over time, even the path to the village disappeared. As if the world itself was trying to forget it ever existed. But the story remained, passed down in whispers. A warning. Because some believe the village was not destroyed. It was taken. And the forest is still there, waiting, watching. And if you ever find yourself near a place where the air suddenly grows still, where the forest becomes too quiet, where you feel like something is watching you, you should leave immediately. Because some lines are not meant to be crossed. And some places never let you leave.